Good evening. You're watching World Talks on TVP World. I'm Aaron Darman. Finance leaders from around the world are descending on Washington as Donald Trump's trade war ramps up and the US pivots on its role in the global order. It appears that this year, rather than coordinating on policies around climate change, inflation or support for Ukraine's struggle against Russia, Donald Trump's tariff crackdown will likely be front and centre. Here to break it all down is Tomasz Kasprowicz, Editor-in-Chief at Res Publica Nowa. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, for the outsider looking in, what makes this IMF gathering so important, and how much of a curveball are Donald Trump's tariffs?
Well, meeting by itself seems to be less important than the one before, because as we know, the United States as the major stakeholder in IMF is actually considering withdrawing from it. IMF is trying not to step on any toes of the Trump administration. So they are actually avoiding certain topics that are usually raised at those meetings. Those consider green transformation, help for less developed countries, and similar issues, or help to the Ukraine. Now those topics are to a large degree muted, and it seems that IMF is trying to keep a low profile, hoping to get into the good graces of Donald Trump.
You raise a good point.
However, what we can see is that the leaders that are descending on Washington are hoping to get quite different results by bilateral transactions with Trump administration.
You raise a good point there, noting that Trump has, of course, ordered a review of US-funded international organisations. I mean, is the IMF and the future of the IMF even secure?
No, it's not, and that might very well be the last spring meeting, because it seems that IMF without the United States becomes a little bit pointless, or will change completely its nature. And now even the funds that were promised by Biden are under questioning, and it's not sure that those funds will be actually transferred to IMF. As we know, the Trump's idea about foreign aid is quite critical one, so IMF is also not certain about this part of its operations, where it's trying to help the developing countries in reaching the higher development levels.
You mentioned as well that the IMF wants to keep a low profile. It has, however, sent some sober warnings this week. And, I mean, it's noted the global financial system is coming under increasing strain, that stability risks have significantly increased. Do you expect this meeting to be a bit of a post-mortem of the tariff crackdown?
Well, it's quite too soon for a post-mortem yet. It seems that we are in the middle of the whole process. However, it will end, because what we see is Trump switching the tariffs on and off as it's a computer that is not working properly, and hoping for different results. So far, the main target, being China, didn't flinch, and it was the Trump that needed to take a step or two back, which is quite problematic from the political point of view for him, as he's approaching 100 days of his presidency. How this will resolve, we will see. Of course, a lot of policymakers that are currently in Washington are actually there not for IMF meeting, but to meet with Trump administration and start or continue the bilateral negotiations of new trade deals. This is just some sort of excuse to show up in Washington. How those will be successful, we don't know. As we've seen so far, this is largely at the whim of the Trump and his decisions about what to pursue and which countries needs to be punished more or less. How the whole thing will unfold, we will see in the future. And basically, we can be able to analyze the whole debacle when we find out which will give first. the resilience of Chinese economy or the patience of American consumer. This is basically the fight we'll be observing in the coming months.
So as you mentioned there, you see this meeting as somewhat of a vehicle to get these leaders to Washington, but really it's the sideshow. The main show is a meeting with members of the Trump administration. I mean, of course, for many it would be with Donald Trump. But how do you imagine these next few days going? What could emerge? Will there be solutions to minimise the pain from Trump's tariffs? Or indeed, is it more about schmoozing with Trump and his people rather than gathering as leaders amongst themselves?
Well, I don't expect that much of a discussion of the tariffs there because, again, IMF avoidance of stepping on Trump's toes. So if this trade war will go in overdrive, we'll definitely see more meetings trying to find out what to do about it. But that's probably not the meeting yet. Of course, we had certain somber warnings so far about the fallout of what's going on, and we see those unfolding pretty rapidly. This week, as we will see probably during the meetings, we'll have updated forecasts of inflation, unemployment, and economic growth of countries around the world issued by IMF. And this might be a spark that will actually initiate some real discussion, showing the real consequences of what's going on. Other than that, so far this meeting was quite uneventful, and it is quite likely that it will remain so unless, of course, Trump shows up with some very outrageous proposals on his own during the meeting.
Predictable and boring foreign and economic policy is usually regarded as the best policy for partners around the world because everyone knows what everyone else is up to. Has Mr. Trump just totally thrown that rulebook out?
Yes, he did. Basically, under his command, US abdicated as a sole superpower of the world and agreed to the vision of Xi and Putin of multipolar world. And now US is becoming just one of the poles. The big question for us is whether European Union will find enough will and strength to become yet another one, possibly with some further allies to the EU, and become an active player on the world market. We have a lot of assets on our side that allows us to be an independent and quite strong player. The question is whether we will be willing to do so.
I want to play you a grab from Bernard Otterstein. He's the president at the Polish-Canadian Chamber of Commerce. This was Mr. Otterstein on TVP World this morning.
I think that what we're finding from the IMF is that there are certain perceptions globally that there are imbalances in the system, that there are gaps, and that some things have not been working the way they should. And I think that's what the Trump administration is definitely saying, and therefore taking measures to try to correct those gaps or those imperfections. That said, any change in the markets that takes away the predictability of how things are going to move forward will cause uncertainty, and that automatically creates higher risk, and also brings into question what the economic growth will be in a given year.
What do you make of that? Are there gaps that Trump and his administration are perhaps rightly targeting, and that in their train of thought might actually have a positive impact?
Well, there are imbalances, that's for sure. They need addressing, but the question is, how do you do that? And the way that Trump is doing it is probably the worst possible way to do it, short of starting a war. So the problem here is that he's destabilizing the entire system, hoping that the new one will be more balanced. But what we see right now is a huge element of uncertainty and also destabilization of global financial system, which we see by investors running away from US dollar, which is the first in remembered history. This actually can cause large problems for US themselves. For example, what we observe for some time is the increased interest rate on the US debt that it needs refinancing. The debt burden of US is huge, and even a small increase on the interest rates is a big problem for Treasury Department. So we even hear right now about the possibility of some sort of default on US bonds. Of course, it's not called a default. It's called a tax on foreign holders of bonds or different other names. But basically, it ends up with being not repaying what was promised. This can have huge consequences, which we already observe, for example, in the gold market, that it's basically right now in a huge increase of demand for gold and, of course, huge increase of prices of gold. How this will develop, we don't know, but clearly a lot of world is looking at gold as a way of insurance against this instability. We cannot be sure that this will work, however. If the entire system collapses, that might not even be enough.
And we're running out of time, but just lastly, given that the IMF wants to keep a low profile, given that it's trying to cozy itself up with Trump because he's ordered a review of US-funded international organisations, what is the flow-on impact for a country like Ukraine that has been invaded by Russia and needs support?
Well, that's a huge problem because this is one stage less to discuss those problems. Of course, this is a bigger problem since Trump started his presidency, as he is withdrawing from the support to the Ukraine, and that's another fiasco for his 100 days because there is no peace in sight. However, this again shows us that Europe needs to toughen up and do the European-Russian crisis our own and make sure it's resolved in the matter that is acceptable to Ukrainians and to the rest of the Europe.
Tomasz Kasprowicz, Editor-in-Chief at Res Publica Nowa, thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much.
And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. Do stay with us. I'm Aaron Darman. Goodbye for now.